Hi there, my name's Jason Williams, and this video is about repairing repairing an ARB air locker, just the electronics of it. I've already begun this project at the time when I made the mud flaps for this very quickly. I didn't have time to record anything, so I've repaired, some of it's done, but not all of it. So what I'm going to do is show you how it's going, what's happening, and then what I'm going to do to rectify that, and then I'll show that. Alright, let's begin. Alright, so here we have the ARB compressor, and what happened is these little wires here, or one of these had broken off. Excuse about the noisy cars going past. One of these had broken off, and so what I did is, these are quite easy. They just little thing undoes off here, a little electromagnet, and it slips off. And what I did is where it had broken off, there was still a piece of plastic sticking out around the cable, so I cleaned that off and soldered the wire back to it, and I already had a piece of heat shrink guided over. I then put that on, heated it up, and shrunk it on there, and then it was a friend of mine who said, oh, that's a bit, those wires are still a bit loose, they could get damaged easily. So what I did is, or his idea was to use some alvedite, and which is, the 5-minute epoxy, A&B form, and we just mixed that up and held it tight, and then sprayed it with a bit of black paint, and it all looked pretty. And we tested the locker on the hoist that it actually did operate. But apart from that, there are some other issues which I'll go in and show you now. Alright, and so this is the other issue, is inside the dash, the switches on the side of the console here are really easy to bump. And if I turn, you see that the switches are opposite. One's down, one's up, so they're put in incorrectly. Alright, that's the compressor on, charging up. Alright, and that's it operating, and you see, you could hear that, and if I switch that off, it still works. This is supposed to be like an isolated switch, so what I'm going to do is remove these out of here and put them up on the dash, just here where that little doobie is. It's not really doing anything. So I'm going to put the switches here so that they're out of the way, and I'll rewire them so that this works like a this switch here works like a isolator as well, which it should be like that, but I'll show you how that goes. So first protocol is to pull this dash out and push this console, pull this console out, and begin putting the wires in over there. Alright, with the console removed and the switches out, I can now get to these switches. So, this is the compressor. Charging up again. There we go, charged up. Okay, so it's easy to flick that around, so then they're both the same way. Now that part's easy, but what I've got to do is make it so that can't operate by itself. and that's quite important. So what's happening, it's quite simple. The power wire, which is a signal wire to allow this to turn on, is going into this switch somewhere here. I'll just I'll check this, and it's going into here, and that same wire is doubled up and bridged across to here, whereas it should be wherever this power wire, which I think is possibly this top one, the opposite pin normally is the switch, like the continuity part. So when that's on, the power gets across, but when it's off, the power won't. So that's something I will now try to discover with my multimeter. Alright, so I've just been checking on the multimeter here, and it turns out the power that is going to this switch is also bridged to go to this one. That's where the issue lies. So the power for this switch should be coming from this signal wire. I believe that will turn on the relay for the pump to turn on, and I can use that power to also feed to this switch to can turn the actuator on and off, as well as the compressor. So I'm going to cut this off from down in here really close, this power feed wire, which is going to the other switch, which is this one over here, leading into this one, and I'm going to cut it and then patch it into this plug here, and we'll see how that goes. So knowing that this is the power wire here, coming over to this one, it's going in there, some across here. I'm just tracing it to make sure I don't cut the wrong one. It's not me, I'm playing with black wires on a black surface. Makes it a little tricky. Just see if I can get that in there without disturbing too much. Okay. Now, this is the wire feedback for the relay for the pump. I now have to blend that cable into here. I might need to put a new plug on it, most likely. Alright, so I found a little plug, stripped that one back and that one. Sort of what I can do, because these are only wires to activate relays. Don't need to worry about huge amounts of current passing through them. I can separate the wire, thin it out a bit. Let's thin that one out nicely. I believe that's done it. Put it in the blue. Crimp it once there, and then again in between. Missed my shot there. Alright, plug this on here, and we'll test it. So it's on, so that should, yep, works, perfect. I can hear it turn off when I switch it off. That's it, that's that bit done. And now, got to refeed the wires back and make the plugs fit. Oh, and coming to think of it, this hasn't got a very good switch cover, does it? I wonder if I've got a spare one lying around. I reckon I do. I'm going to try, see if I can find that. Alright. Look at that. And it says front air locker because that's what it is. Sweet. Alright, run these cables and fit these doovies in and put everything back together. Alright, so that's everything back together. And that's what you can see with the switches there, but you know, there's a little bit of a hole there, but either way, I'll shine the light so we can see if I move the light. It's a bit dark in here. And down here, those holes are there, but that's alright. I've got something for that later. But everything was pretty simple. It was just sort of move the cables, chuck them in there, and go for it. And that was about it. So, just to show, if I turn this light off, the see that light's on. It's charging up. Almost there. There we go. And then we can, there's that. You probably hear it operate, and then turn that off. It operates as well with it. So no matter what, if that gets hit, it can't turn on. Whereas before it was set up wrong. You know, I could bump it here, and it was in a spot where you could actually, reach it and accidentally turn it on by accident. But there, it's, you know, that's a so much better place to put it. Alright, so the next step is to test how it works. Alright, so here we are about to test. I've let the tyres down to about 15 psi, and this is where I'm going to test it. And this is, obviously it's not going to look that drastic on the camera, but I'm going to walk up here because, you know, it's going to be epic. I mean, just to get up here is going to be, my gosh, what a job. I'm going to set the camera up here and give this a bit of a test, because far out, what am I thinking? You know, if it gets up here, it's going to get the name, because I haven't named it obviously. It's going to probably get the name Goat, or Mountain Goat, or just Goat. This looks like it could be tricky. Alright, let's see how this goes. Oop. Let's not dig a big hole. It's working for the first bit at least. If I get up here, this is getting called a goat. Ho ho. Oh, yes. Well, what do you know? It's a goat. you know, I've got a bit more. I'm going to spend the rest of the day playing around in the hills here. You know, hopefully I don't break anything. We'll see what happens. Guess you guys will get to see that because I'll be repairing it. Thank you very much for watching this little goat. And this, you know, surprisingly when I bought this, you know, the diff locks didn't work, compressor didn't seem to operate. Anyway, I'll change a few things, and as you saw, I showed what I did, and I made things a bit better and work properly. And it was all fairly easy, and that's it. I can't, you know, laugh at this and say, oh, it's just a Nissan Patrol, it's just this. It's not. It's incredibly capable, and it's got the nickname to me, the goat, and I'm going to call it a goat because that's pretty much what it is. Mountain goat, don't think it's quite there yet for like what I would class as a mountain goat. Billy goat, nah, it's just getting a bit too long, so just goat for now. All right. Thanks heaps for watching this. Thank you very much, and I hope some of this information helps you. You know, all these things are very basic. It's just taking the time and understanding how things work. And you know, either way, thank you very much for watching, and I aspire to see you in the next one. Cheers.